Hi there, I'm Greg, and today we're taking a look at how stock taking works within inventory software. It might be a little different to how you run your normal stock taking process, so what I'm going to do is give you a quick example in the inventory system that I've got here. We'll create a stock count and then complete it, and what that will do is update our inventory records as well as create a journal entry in our accounting system. Let's jump in and take a look. Okay, so here I am in my Unleashed account. Just logged in on a browser tab and I'm ready to start a stock take. But before we do that, a quick question. Why are we doing a stock take? For a lot of businesses, stock taking is about getting visibility of what you have available to sell. And that's actually a pretty bad reason for checking stock. If your inventory system's set up properly with goods logged in and then out as you make sales, you should have something a bit like this. A live view of everything in the business, with all those details of cost, location, and availability at your fingertips. So if you are stock taking, just to get that very basic visibility you need to make sales, you should probably stop watching this and go get set up with some proper inventory software. The much more sensible approach to stock taking is what I'll show you now. It's called cycle counting, which is where we'll keep the business as a whole running and just isolate a small section of our real world inventory so we can check it against our records. The intention here is to catch any discrepancies from breakages or mistakes, and we want to do this regularly in nice manageable chunks. So when we get to the end of financial year and do that big compulsory all business stock take, we shouldn't have any big surprises. So a bit of a long-winded intro there, but worth saying. So let's get started and look at an actual stock take in the software. So the first thing I'll do here in Unleashed is create a stock count. We'll go inventory, transactions, stock counts, and before I hit create count, we're going to narrow down what it is we're counting. I'm running 8 different warehouses in this particular business, and we're not doing a full stock take today. We certainly could do, but as I said, we are cycle counting. So I'll select just my Bristol warehouse, and then I'm going to narrow down even further by choosing a single bin location. I'm literally only going to count the items in this one area here, bin A1, which is going to make for a really painless process. So you can see here, my inventory records say that there are only 2 products held here. We have this jars of apricot jam, this product here, and then we have a quantity of these 1 kilogram bags of blueberries. But what I'm going to do is tick this create empty stock count box, which removes those items from the list. Now, I'm doing that because one of the principles of good stock taking is to count shelf to sheet, not the other way around. And the reason for that is we don't want to start our count with a preconceived idea of what we'll find. We want to count everything that we find in that location and then check it against our records afterwards. So that's just basically going to hide our records during the count. I'll give it a name, and then I get this warning here. Again, this is just best practice stock taking. That we need to deal with any open transactions before we count. So obviously if we had another 1,000 jars of jam on the loading dock already scanned in, waiting to be stacked on the shelves, we'd need to sort that out before we started counting, otherwise the records would be way out. So let's say yes to that and we can begin our count. And there are lots of ways I can do that. I can walk around with a tablet or a laptop and a Bluetooth scanner and go zip, 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 and scan all the items in like this. I can download a spreadsheet, edit that and re-upload it. I can also print a paper sheet, hand it out to my staff and manually enter what they find back in the office. Or I can just count directly into Unleashed, which is what I'll show you here. So let's say I walk down to bin A1 and yep, I found those apricot jam products. And by my count, there are, here we go, this many jars. And I can even specify the batch numbers that I find over here. And let's say I also count this many bags of blueberries. And here's a surprise. I actually find, say, 5,000 empty jars at bin A1. So I'll add that too. So now with that physical counting part done, it's time to investigate any variances before I complete the count. Because if I hit complete here, it's literally going to adjust my stock on hand figures and write a journal entry into my accounting software against my cost of goods sold account.
So before that happens, I'll print my variance report and let's go back to the shelf and double check. There's a lot less of that jam product than we thought we had, and that seems quite serious. So we'll need to find out what happened and maybe get some better processes around recording theft or breakages. And then these 5,000 extra jars, it turns out that they were in my records, they just got put in the wrong place. So if I just move those to where they belong, I don't think I'll need to make a stock adjustment now that I've fixed that. So let's just remove that line. So now I will hit save and my inventory records have been updated. My financial records have also been updated. And because it's so easy to chip away at these little cycle counts, when my big end of financial year stock take comes around, I shouldn't have any nasty surprises. I'll also, day by day, know that this, my really detailed digital record of the business, is as precise as possible.
So that's stock taking with inventory software. Hopefully you can see how a good inventory system makes for much more accurate stock takes as well as inventory accounting. If you'd like to know more about Unleashed, you can reach out using the links, or if you'd like to see some more detailed software demos, there are lots of videos you can explore here too.